So what do you get if you mix Lovecraftian horror with Cronenbergian gore? Hi there, I'm Dan, your friendly indie game Viking, and in today's video we take a look at Morbid The Seven Acolytes from still running on the PC. So if you just click this video in search of more information about this Souls-like top-down horror punk action RPG, I got you covered. Sounds like fun? Great, then you know what to do. Grab a cup with your favorite drink, this is coffee by the way, and let's watch the video. So, let's start with diving into the lore of the game with the doom that came to Soloia. The once prosperous fishing village of Soloia was reduced to a desolate ruin after a strange sickness took over the hamlet. So this is also where you start your playthrough with our unnamed hero. The surrounding sea became devoid of life, while the proud villagers devolved into mindless monsters of the sea. To make things even worse, it happens around the same time the malevolent Gahars first arrived at Mornia. Many are of the opinion that the cruel deities are to blame for everything. Gahars, you might be wondering? Think of them as evil beings born from the consciousness of 7 people and granted powers as they served as the vessels of these evil deities. With their newfound powers, they conquered Mornia, enslaved the people, and established a tyranny never before seen. Say what you want about the Gahars, but they are sure ambitious. There is more lore to read up about when you start your playthrough, so let's leave it there and jump into the gameplay. You start your journey on this lovely beach where someone kindly left a sword and books to read. The first impression is that the music of the game is really good, and you can break boxes and pots, but they don't really drop any good loot. As you progress, you're carefully shown one game mechanic at a time, like how to heal and how to use different bonuses like increased attack speed and so on. You might think that the game starts off a bit slow for being a top-down action RPG, but there will be more action later on. I will mention a thing that threw me off a bit right away, so you don't have to think about it if you decide to play the game. You are told early on that you can level up your perks when you acquire more skill points. I for one spent the first hour of the game seeing these points rack up as I hack and slash my way through all the monsters I could find to fight, but I could not distribute those precious points in any way. Turns out later, after you killed your first acolyte, you will get that skills that you then can invest your points in. As you move around, you will pick up skills along the way like a dodge roll and a sprint. None of these are active from the start, by the way. Same goes with the ability to shoot range weapons. And while talking about the weapons, there will be over 25 weapons for you to find and use, like swords, axes, maces, spears and two-handers of course, and also some range weapons in a bit of a steampunk-inspired way like pistols, rifles and shotguns. The weapons have of course stats that affect how you prefer to play the game. Some might want to play it fast and dodge roll and attack. Me, well, I have a tendency to dodge roll right into harm's way, so I picked a more powerful approach. Simply get the heaviest, most powerful thing I could find, and then hitting the enemies from weird angles or forcing them to get stuck at the corner and one-shot them. It also helps that you can find and equip runes that are socketed into your weapon to give you extra fire, lightning and bleed effects as you run around dealing death to the monsters of this world. These runes can of course also be inserted into range weapons for some extra punch. Besides the usual scarce healing possibilities, you can of course eat disgusting gruel to heal up a bit or use other things you find in the world. But you also have to keep track of your stamina that is drained by rolling, running and attacking. This opens up for times where you can't attack since you've been rolling around like a maniac. But they have also introduced sanity into the game, a way that further challenges you simply by if your sanity levels gets too high, bad things start to happen. Besides the pulsating purple effect of the world, the enemies you kill will resurrect as a ghost form and further challenge your adventure. Enemies are sorted into the 5 categories, honorable mentions for the MVPs, the 7 acolytes and the formidable foes. So how is the boss fights in this game? Well, the game has no difficult settings, but the first ones are on a pretty decent level. You can focus on keeping your distance and slightly offset attack them and deal a good amount of damage. Some mini bosses you can actually abuse a bit and attack before the encounter even starts, so they are tenderized when the encounter starts. My guess is that will be patched in further updates of the game. The game gives you quests to solve and they are not always a straight path to solve them. One lady was looking for information about her missing husband, and it was not until I killed a mini-boss I found his journal and could solve the quest. Other quests like finding a bucket of worms usually makes you kill everything until you find the bucket. There are shrines spread out in the world that acts like fast traveling points and also a place to meditate to heal up. And if you meditate, you can be sure that the enemy respawns to keep you busy. I for one feel like an overview map of all locations would help you feel more invested and would be easier to navigate than reading the descriptions and landing on the wrong place from time to time. The music throughout the game is really good. It has 18 tracks of orchestrated music that add some depth to the playthrough and also have some parts that remind me of the Diablo 2 soundtrack. Graphics are heavily based on the enemies exploding in front of you in a true David Cronenberg way, and if you don't know who he is, I can recommend you to check out the movie Scanners with all the exploding heads. The game is a good addition to the Souls-like genre. They have added a sneak mechanic that some might think it's a bit odd to play with when wanting just brutal combat, and I did not use it very much myself. But it's not as hard to master like for instance Hollow Knight, so for the beginners into this category of games, this could be a light experience on the challenge that will come with other Souls-like games when playing those. As this review is recorded, they have not presented any price for the game, so I can't really give you an opinion about the value versus playtime, but if it lands on a decent price, you should pick it up and dodge roll your way for a couple of hours. As for replayability, you will probably beat the game and then hope they will introduce a difficult setting so you can challenge yourself again before playing it. But you know what? Let's not end this journey here. We have talked about the story, the gameplay and the soundtrack, and also what you will get if you decide to buy this game and play it. So to give you a chance to experience even more amazing indie games, I have added another video that I think that you will love to the upcoming end screen. So I will see you there, and until next time, stay safe and stay awesome.